Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to Sister Speak. Today, you're joined by me, Lamisa, and we also have
Mariam.
Mariam here today as well, and hopefully we'll be joined by Sonia very soon. Today our main topic, we have one. What's the main topic, Mariam?
Representation of Muslims in the media.
Yes, representation of Muslims in the media, which is what we're going to be discussing in our second half, inshallah. Do you want to let everyone know what our show's about?
So our show is a platform for Muslim girls to voice their own opinions on current events or issues, and even voice our opinions. We want to know that all opinion views are our own and respect all other opposing view. If you do want to join the discussion today, you can call us on 01582 481822, or you can WhatsApp us 0779481822.
Yes, exactly. So please do let us know what you guys are thinking. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to get you involved in the conversation. Okay, so before we begin all of our discussions, we do a thought for the week. And thankfully, because I'm in the host chair today,
Only for
Mariam,
this week.
Mariam, what's your thought for this week?
Rest, guys.
Oh, what's the why?
Because I need to rest. That's why I'm telling you all to rest. No, honestly, rest. Everyone needs to rest. You need to rest. Anyways, my thought of the week is making sure that you schedule time into rest, especially if you don't listen to your own body. I think it's so important that we listen to our own body, and that extends to even our mental health as well. If we're mentally feeling exhausted, if we're tired, it's really important that we take those cues and we consider it as part of our well-being, because I think there's just this culture that we always have to overwork, and everyone, especially on social media, is always talking about their goals and their ambitions, but no one ever talks about the significance of scheduling rest. So I think it's important to realize that if you want to be at your optimum, you need to be able to rest.
That's a great thought for the week. Always lessons to learn from you, Mariam. Always lessons to learn.
So she says.
Okay.
We get back to you, Lamisa. What's
your
thought?
My thought for the week this week is just a reminder to everyone out there about your parents, and just to remember everything that they do for you and be grateful. Because a lot of people don't have parents in this world, and I think we're really lucky. And it's so easy because we see them every day and you live with them every day. So you have there's a tendency there to kind of take them for granted. And I think we need to remind ourselves every now and again, or actually frequently, to be honest, that our parents are not always going to be there, and we have a right and a duty as Muslims to actually look after them and treat them with as much respect as possible. That's my thought for the week.
Very good.
So that wraps up our thoughts for the week. So now we're going to move on to our hot topics, but this time our hot topics is going to be a quick discussionary game.
I love this game.
It's a would you rather type game, or what would you do in this situation type game. Okay, let's see, what situation should I go with first? Okay, let's start with an easy one. Obviously a lot of our listeners are kind of students, they're of that kind of age, and we were students in the past or currently am, and have a lot of tips on that. So Mariam, what type of revision or learning style are you? Do you cram things in, or do you understand things first and then that's how you memorize it? So how do you memorize things?
Well, my degree isn't it's not about memorizing. It was more about comprehension. So I think it's important to first figure out what your studies is requiring of you. So if you're doing a humanities subject, it's very important that you have research skills, comprehension skills, analyzation skills, attention to detail. I'm sure if you're in a science field, you have to have, of course, similar skills: comprehension, analyzation, but also memorizing, because you have to learn a lot of information in a very short period of time, so it's condensed. But in answering your question, I would say my learning style is, I think it's evolved. I think initially my learning style was to work over a very long period of hours, and I wouldn't say that was conducive as I reflect over it now. I think I'm a person that likes to do things well before any deadline. The minute that this person gives me a deadline, I will start working it from on that day.
Really?
Yeah, because I just feel like I need to give myself time. And that's not necessary to say that I would start like writing up the answer to the questions, but I would start thinking about it because they've told me to do it. So I think my research and my planning stage is something that I spend a lot of time on. And I would say that even the last week of the deadline, then the crunch will come, then I will start writing it up. But now I think my learning style is short amounts consistently. Especially I'm studying Arabic, and I found that the system that this Arabic course is in terms of the structure is it's very sustainable because you just do 15 minutes studying every single day, and you engage through a app. So you're learning words, Arabic words, and it's quite fun actually. It's like a game. So you learn the words, and then you watch the video, and then you apply the words to the video, and you learn the rule, and you do that just literally 15 minutes every single day.
Okay.
So by the end of the week, you know about 100 words, but you don't feel it because you're doing such a small amount. You're doing 10 words or 20 words every day.
So Arabic obviously is learning a new language requires a lot of memorization, right?
It does.
If you had an exam, let's say tomorrow, how would you work around working or prepping for that exam?
So if I had an exam tomorrow, because I've been doing it consistently, my studies approach is more consistent. I think I wouldn't struggle as much as if I didn't do it. Like so, the structure is essentially down to you. They gave you the videos, and you do it in your own time. They recommend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this structure, but if you can't do it and then you want to cram it in 1 day or 2 hours, you can essentially do that. But I've opted to do it just every single day before I go to sleep. So the way I would prepare for this exam is, firstly, I would look at my notes. I would revise. Sorry, guys, I'm quite sick today. I would revise over whatever I've been taught. And then I would, because it's Arabic language, I would try to do quite similar sentences that I was tested on. So try to use the words that I've got in my word bank, let's just say, and make sentences, because that's essentially what the test would be. So I think that's how I would do it. If it was a broader kind of subject, for any subject, I think the best way is past papers. Just for any students out there, past papers are very, very important.
If you can get your hands on them.
If you can get your hands on them. It's if you're in A levels and GCSE, there's no problem. You need to be doing that, and because you're accustoming yourself in what language they require in terms of the answers, so you know what the marking scheme is like, and you can see the grades, and you can write according to that, so they can understand to give you a mark. In terms of university, I would say it's important to be consistent, and it's really difficult because you're juggling so much. So you have.
But let's be honest, are you? Ask yourself. As I feel like a lot of the time we can cut ourselves a lot of slack and be like, I'm juggling all of this. But then if you think about just the sheer amount of time you spent on your phone today, then I think you'll kind of see if you really are or not. I think that's something where we have to kind of be honest with ourselves as well, you know, because I'm a student myself and I know what other fellow students are like. And like Mariam's saying, consistent small efforts are going to build up and are going to help you more than having one massive cramming session the night before the exam. And you need to it is hard to juggle everything, but you need to kind of be honest with yourself in terms of how much time am I actually wasting in the day, and how much time can I spend doing these small but very often, regular efforts, because that's going to help you more.
For sure. And I think, when I went to Budapest for a study session through Femiso, one of the things that I learned, and she's studying psychology and she's in the field, and what people give to patients that suffer depression is having a very holistic view of your routine the whole day. So from exactly when you wake up. So the sheet that she gave us was 24 hours. It literally said 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. that you have to see, and you have to write down exactly what you do in that hour. And it's a very it really makes you think, this kind of task, because you have to be honest with yourself. How much time are you spending sleeping? So if you put your hours, if you're sleeping in a very ridiculous time of the day, and then you're wondering why you're not productive in the morning, then you have to hold yourself accountable because you put yourself in that situation. So when you have it in a very physical form and it's visible to you that how you're spending your time, I think it opens your mind a little bit more to take yourself out of the routine that is kind of hindering you from achieving any kind of goals you have. So I think it is about honesty, and I think it's about asking yourself, what do you want to achieve out of it, especially in terms of your studies. If you want to get a good grade, hold yourself accountable, because if you don't, then you are going to just have a loss.
Yeah, true. I think for me, in terms of what works better, whether it's, understanding a concept or whether it's cramming, frankly, if you understand the concept, that will stick in your head because you understand it. I've noticed whenever I've been studying myself, something that I understand, I don't ever have to come back to look at it again, or I can just briefly skim over the notes and what it says because you already have that concept inside your mind. You get it, you know it. Whereas things you don't understand, that's when you start to memorize because you're like, I don't get it, but I just need to have the information or the words in my head so that, I know which one it is. If you haven't studied, you have no other option. You have to cram because what else are you going to do? Because for a lot of people, understanding takes time, it's not as easy as just read it once and it will stick. It's about actually knowing what the concept is, breaking it down, understanding what actually goes on, and that can take time. So yeah, but the best way to memorize, I would say, is probably to understand, because that way you never have to look at it again, and if it just clicks, it clicks, but yeah.
And I was just going to add to that as well. Like in terms of understanding concepts, be creative. Don't just keep yourself in one exclusive way and using a textbook. There's so many YouTube videos out there. There's so many blog posts out there. There's other students who's probably talked about that specific topic, and the way they may have explained it might be more easy for you to understand. You can resonate and it's more relatable. And I think that another way is teaching it to someone else. So if you understand a concept, or if you're struggling to understand a concept, then speak it out loud and speak to your peers.
Yeah. Get a whiteboard and practice writing on the whiteboard.
Yeah, practice it. And even what's it called? If you want to consolidate what you do understand, is maybe teaching it to someone that doesn't do the same subject as you. Because if you can explain it to them in layman terms, then that means you definitely got it in your head. But now we have been joined by Sonia, and she can't get away with the thought of the week. So you have to do thought of the week. Sorry.
Well, I actually had one and it's left my mind just because I've come in late and I've come
No, that's okay. You can let us know when you think about it, and we'll hear your thought for the week. Don't worry.
Try to remember.
We're talking about
Sonia. Yeah.
Study tips.
So what type of person are you? Which way do you memorize better? Do you cram, or do you try and understand the concept, and does that help you memorize?
So I feel like naturally I would be the crammy type.
Yeah.
But I've learned, and I've had those learning experiences where you cram it and then you hate it, and then whereas when you actually try to learn the concept, it makes so much more sense. And so no, I used to be the crammy type.
Yeah.
Then say for university, for example, in those 3 years I learned, let me actually you do the reading and you're like, wow, this actually makes so much sense, and proper understanding and stuff. So yeah, I'm that. But also I think I'm very old fashioned. I'm the type that can write something out again and try to memorize it. I'm like that type. Do you know when you're
I do that, yeah.
Back in GCSE science times or something, when you copy it out again, cover it, memorize it, those type, I can do that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm quite old fashioned like that. And also just repeating things, but nothing beats understanding it and trying to,
because it just sticks in your head, right?
And have you tried teaching it again, even if it's to yourself? Or did you guys speak about that?
I used to get a whiteboard and pretend to write things out.
Exactly. Or if you try and teach it to someone else, get a little sister or sibling to just stand there.
Exactly.
Hold on, let me just explain to you the concept of something. And I think sometimes that's the best way to really learn something, because you're explaining it to someone else, which means you'll understand.
Yeah, exactly. I also found that if you cram and memorize, then straight after the exam, it goes out of your head.
Yeah,
sometimes
that works though, right? Sometimes that works.
It does. But I feel like if for long term you want to learn something, or if you're in a degree where the concepts are gonna continue turning up, then you really do need to try and understand that, because
otherwise you've just you're gonna not know what they're talking about, basically.
Exactly. But yeah, should we try a different? Let's go for another scenario.
Oh, we're playing the game.
Yeah, we're playing a game for the first time.
The game.
The game. Yeah. Okay, so Sonia, when you cook, are you measure everything out, or are you just play around with the spices type of person? what type of person
Oh
are
my
you?
god, I've tried to do the measure thing. I've tried.
Okay.
But I swear, I don't know if it's my kitchen or my house or whatever, but we never have the right measuring unit for what it is.
Okay.
So then I have like say if it's ounces, cups, milliliters, it's
Yeah.
I never
It's
have
never
what I
right.
need. But we have everything. But when
Yeah.
I need it, I can't find it. So then I
Mm.
start doing conversion and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's just long.
No, I know.
So
It's when you start bringing out the maths in cooking.
yeah. And cooking
Sorry,
is
why?
maths, isn't it? Yeah. So I am such a throw in, mix and match type of person.
Yeah.
Even if I'm making like a banana cake, that's the
Yeah.
one thing I do make, banana bread. I literally just chuck in flour, sugar, cream it. I'm like, no, it needs a bit more of that. Sprinkle,
Really?
sprinkle, add, dash.
Does it taste good at the end?
I think it does. People tell me it tastes good, but it definitely wouldn't win me like MasterChef. Like it'd be
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
They'd be like, this is the wrong
This
thing
is
you've
not
cooked.
it. Your flavors.
You've made a pancake or something. But I know it tastes nice. For me,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Even when I make like pasta, I don't even know what I make sometimes. It's just a mix. It's
Yeah.
literally like a mix. It's not even baked sometimes. It's just
Seriously?
in the handy like pasta
The
sauce,
handy.
oil,
Yeah.
chilies, kebabs, everything mixed together. But it tastes nice.
Love
So
it.
forget the measuring.
Okay, I'm
What
just gonna
about you?
say apologies to everyone who can hear. We have a bit of construction work in the studio. So yeah, apologies if that is annoying you right now. But there's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. But yeah, what about me? I try to follow the recipe as much as I can, but I end up just not being bothered in the end because
Oh,
I
okay.
always end up also not having enough of the ingredient to make what I
No
want to
way.
make. So then I try and scale things down and use it's that typical GCSE maths problem.
Oh,
John has
ratio.
how many exactly? How many, eggs is he gonna need? And I just sit there like trying to work out all the things and then I'm just like I can't be asked. So I just end up doing whatever.
Why are we like this?
I don't know.
This
I
is
don't
why I
know.
couldn't be a Giselle
And then you're
maker.
like, why doesn't it taste good? Because you didn't follow the recipe. But oh well.
Oh, well.
Okay, so next one. Okay, so you've recently got in contact with a friend who you haven't seen in ages and you guys want to meet up. Okay.
Yep.
Do you schedule the meetup for 5th of September we'll meet up on this day? Or are you the type of person, okay, let's see in a month's time. Are we both free if our schedules align?
No, I've been through a lot with meeting up with friends and stuff. I
Yeah.
think this is like an adult thing, as
Yeah.
we've spoken a bit about before. So I will have to set a date. I am that person.
Okay.
I'm like, let me check if my calendar is free.
Yeah.
I go through the dates and yeah, I will have to schedule a date right there and then.
Ooh.
I've done it. Why are you making that sound? Do you
I
not do that?
I find that interesting because I feel like if I set it too far in the future and then it comes to that
You
date, I'm
forget.
like, I forget, or I'm like, oh, not really feeling it now. Like,
Oh,
And
nice.
so I feel like it either has to be within that week
Mm.
or we just accept it's not going to happen anytime soon.
No, but it won't happen because you don't make the plan.
Yeah, I guess so. Me and my friends, what are we doing, guys? Come on.
Lamisa's friends,
Come
please
on.
meet up with her. Please.
Oh gosh, I'm in Luton all by myself. Just like, but yeah, I feel like I'm the type of person to be like, okay, let's see if our schedules meet up. Because I had this one friend who, whenever she would come to London, I wasn't in London,
Okay.
and whenever I was in London, she wasn't in London. So it would definitely be a let's try and match our schedules when we can.
And then it would never happen.
And then it happened. It happened once in 3 years.
So happy to
we
hear that.
managed to meet each other. But yeah, that's the type of person I am. Let us know what type of people you guys are if you're listening. 01582 481 or WhatsApp 07779 481 We'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. Okay, this is another one. So you're going on a trip with friends this time. Are you the type of person to be like, okay, my hotel and my flights are booked, we're good to go? Or are you the type of person, on day 1 we're going to do XYZ, on day 2 we're going to do this, go to this restaurant, go to this place?
Okay, Lamisa, funny that you talk about hotel. I mean, like going on a flight with a friend on holiday.
Yeah.
I've gone through so much trouble. And my friends, if they're listening, I mean this in good, good jest and stuff. I'm going to share the story.
Okay.
Where do I begin?
Oh no.
So me and my friends, we planned this trip to Paris in like March. And then when it got close to the time, for some reason, they kind of were just like, I'm not really feeling it anymore.
Okay.
Just want to put out there, guys, if you're booking holidays online, sometimes, most of the times, you have to pay a cancellation fee,
Yeah,
or
of
you
course.
don't get your money back.
Yeah.
So don't cancel your flight, please. So we did that. and then we had to pay a fee to change it. It was horrible. Then it got to the time again, and then
Don't say they wanted to go.
they didn't want to go.
Oh, they didn't
And
want
I
to.
love you guys, honestly, when they're listening to this. I should have said some people I know rather than my actual friends, but they didn't want to go.
Okay.
But I did want to go, and
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to get that money back.
Yeah.
So I went.
Yeah.
I went with my sister. Yeah, I just went.
So
I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I definitely am the person that's like, if the hotel and flight is booked, I try to have a vague idea of where I'm going and what I'm doing.
Mhm.
That's also because you have to like dress accordingly too. Like
That's
if you're going
true.
to visit a mosque, you need to make sure you have mosque appropriate clothes, or if you're going to the beach, you need beach appropriate clothes and so on. But I don't make like a strict itinerary. No way. That's too strict.
That's too
But
much.
I am actually very organized. I will have like, on day one, we're going to Paris, we're going to well, we are going to Paris, but we're going to the Eiffel Tower, Louvre, or something else. And the next day we're going to do this. We go back, change our clothes, go out for lunch. Like, so I know it sounds very organized when you put it like that.
I guess so. Yeah.
I actually do plan it like that.
I feel like I'm the type of person, if the flights are booked and the hotel is booked, I'll have a vague idea of the things I want to see. Like I'll start looking up beforehand. But I won't know on what day I'm doing what until I get there.
So
and then
you
if
just
I get
freelance
there,
it, like you're there.
Yeah,
and you're
I'm like,
what do I feel like doing today?
So when me and my family go, it's like obviously they'll leave everything down to me for some reason, and I always mess things up. And they're like, "You always mess things up." And I'm like, well, "Why do you leave it to me?" Then? But anyway, on the day, let's say the day before, like if I'm scrolling through my phone, I'll be like, "Okay, these are the things I want to see." Then I'll start making an itinerary, like once I'm there.
While you're there?
Yeah.
Why you're using holiday time to plan your holiday?
If we went out today and then today we go back to the hotel after we've had like dinner and everything, and I'm just chilling, I'll plan the next day.
You could do that. You could have just
that's what I do. So. But yeah, that's how I do it. So, but for example, food places, I don't plan that.
No, I don't plan that either.
Yeah.
But I'm not very one of the. I'm a foodie. Don't get me wrong. But when I go abroad to other countries, I'm not that person that's like, I must eat at this restaurant. I must have this food. I don't know. I see the
to look up the restaurants that are famous and I just run into it, which one.
Literally, yeah. Is it halal? Yeah. We'll go there. Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm not the type of person to be like.
It's so weird that you don't plan ahead. I feel like I really do.
I feel like I've done it once before, and I can say that definitely that holiday went a lot smoother than other holidays that we've had. And the days where I do plan, like this is what we're gonna do, those days obviously go well as well. The days where we don't have a lot of plan, it's just I feel like you walk around a lot and you waste a lot of time.
Sometimes that's okay. Depending
it's okay
on the
if you're
of
like
holiday.
in the mood to explore.
So we went to Morocco and it was Eid al-Adha, I think. And that means everything was shut. Literally everything on that one day. On that day before and after, back up again. But fine, on that one day everything was shut. But there's a beach. So we were like, let's go to the beach and enjoy it. And we did. So we kind of did nothing, as you would say, but sometimes it works out. It's a relaxation, isn't it?
Honestly, it is. Like I think it's if you have a bit of spare time, for example, you've had dinner and you want to go for a walk. Yeah, that is fine. Have no plan, go chill.
But you mean the whole?
But the whole day is a bit
12
like
hours
no, just walking around is not the one. Okay. But yeah, there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, we went to Turkey recently. And
so did everyone.
So did everyone. Everyone. Looking at, you need to know what days things are open, because you can't. Those things you can't just turn up and be like, because they'll be like, oh, we're shut. Because we wanted to go to a market in one place and that was shut, and then the day we went to a different market in another place, that day that was shut.
So good advice, Lamisa. Thank you for doing that experience.
Yeah, guys. You can learn from my mistakes. But we are at the end of the first half of our show, so please do join us after the break. We'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. In Luton and its surrounding areas, it is now time for Salat al-Asr.
Luton और इसके मज़ाफ़ात में नमाज़ असर का वक्त हुआ चाहता है.
This azan has been sponsored by Ideal Properties. Contact us on 01582 72 1110 or log on to www.idealpropertiesltd.co.uk.
أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Would you like to sponsor the Azan? If so, give us a call on 01582 481 810 or email us on info@inspirefm.org.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome back to Sister Speak. Before the break we were doing a few scenarios from the game that we like to play quite often now. But yeah, okay, we'll do a few more and then we'll move on to our main topic. So Sonia, if your phone screen breaks, right? And you have a very obvious ugly crack on your phone. Okay. But your phone still works. Do you schedule it for a repair as soon as possible or do you just continue to use it?
Oh, this is a good question because I've seen people that just carry on using their phones and they've got like a huge crack down the middle of it. I hate it. I will schedule it for a repair. I have to. If I have the means and the funds to do it, I have to, And I don't like touching it. And like, you know, when you put your phone against your face,
it's
like
a bit scary.
You can feel like scratches on your face and so on.
That's not the one.
Yeah, I have to get that scheduled.
You are quite an organized person, you know.
No, you know what? I'm not. But when I talk to you, you make me feel like I am.
No, it's just me. I am I'm not disorganized for all the employers out there. I have my own way of doing
So
things.
what would you do then?
I would say you are quite an organized person from going through these scenarios, like
scaring me. I didn't know I was. I think my parents instilled it in me. Like if my dad saw me using that, he'd be like, "Give it to me right now. I'll fix it." Yeah. So he's pushed it onto me.
I see.
Yeah. With like car issues.
Yeah.
Like I know you don't have drive at the moment, but if you did if there was like a light problem, like not something crazy, but like. Okay, this is
a minor issue.
This is what I'm about to say is actually like not legal to drive, but let's say one of your lights went like
Okay.
a one that you don't really use, like the fog light, left side only has
Yeah.
gone. A lot of people wouldn't. First of all, they wouldn't even know because you never really put it on.
Yeah.
But secondly, they wouldn't even care. Like, oh, like I'll fix it eventually.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm not supposed to drive with it off. I'll fix it eventually.
Yeah.
If my dad saw that, it's straight away. It doesn't matter. He'll be like, Sonia, you can walk to work. You can get a bus to work. You can figure it out. We're taking your car to get that fixed right
Oh,
now. So I think he's kind
really?
of instilled that into me.
I
And I
see.
would have to do repairs
You have
like
to do it straight away.
this. But yeah,
Mm.
you answer the question.
I feel like I wish I was that type of person. But if I saw a crack, like my screen protector's cracked right now,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Let me
change
see.
it. It's like this.
That's not that
Yeah,
bad.
but
That's
I've
not
had
that
it where
bad.
my phone screen has okay, so my old phone, I used to crack my screen every so often. I don't know why and I don't know how.
Oh goodness me.
And to be honest, after the first time I was like, oh my gosh, like it's cracked. What do I do? And my dad did get it repaired straight away. Afterwards, it's like if I'm gonna have to dish out 30 quid every time, it's not worth it. I was like, I'll just
Well, why do you keep cracking your phone?
I don't know what it was
Did
with
you
that.
not
'Cause
learn your
I
lesson?
had it for 4 years. In the last year, and at 3 years I never cracked it. And then in
Okay.
the last year, as soon as I cracked it once,
Yeah.
that year it kept cracking. I
Right.
don't know why.
And it didn't break.
No, it didn't break. It was fine. It's just the screen.
You got a Nokia.
No,
It's like, ow.
it was fine. It's just the screen would crack, and I'd be like, okay. So I think I don't care as much now. I would just continue to use the phone until I had to, unless like obviously my display was like completely
But
frazzled.
you can't see it.
Yeah. Then I'm not like, I would go get it repaired at that point. But I feel like, yeah,
So if you can use it, you won't really.
if I can use it, I will just continue to use it.
Fair enough.
I'm very, I don't know. Is that relaxed or is that disorganized?
I feel like you're like it's practical in a way because if you're still able to use it, then you're good.
Then I'm going to use it. Yeah,
there's a word for
exactly.
that. I'll find it later.
Okay. So yeah, I feel like this has been quite insightful. We're learning new things about
You
each
find
other.
out about yourself.
Yeah,
actually,
that's
as well.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is similar to the one that we had about the trip. So, for example, if you have free time, will you not go out unless you have a plan, or will you just spontaneously kind of go out and see where the day takes you?
What kind of
if you
trip?
have free time.
No, but where's the trip? Where are we?
Wherever. Where do you want to?
I think for me, it depends where you are.
Okay.
It definitely depends on the country or location.
Okay, I see.
I don't know.
You're in Luton. You have
I'm in
a
Luton.
weekend off.
I have the weekend off.
Yeah.
And you're asking me, I got free time.
Yeah.
You're like,
Are you going to stay at home unless you have a plan, or will you just go out and enjoy the day?
Just be out.
Yeah.
Ew. No. No way. If I don't have a plan, I'm not going.
You're not going. Really?
You're scaring me because I sound too organized. It's freaking me out.
It's interesting. Wow.
I'm not going
Why?
out.
What's the reason behind it?
Because why am I going out for no reason? Like, enjoy the day where? To do what? Like, I know what you're saying though, because like there might be something I come across and I have a great time, or I might find a new food spot and enjoy it. Yeah, true. And which I'll never know unless I go out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like making plans.
Okay.
It's freaking me out. I didn't know.
Sonia's now realizing who she is. She's found her true personality, and she didn't know this before.
Schedule into my calendar. I'm not seeing you. Basically, I didn't know I was like this.
Interesting.
That is so weird. 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't go out if I didn't have a plan.
If you didn't have a plan. Okay.
External factors may affect that. I have a younger sister. She'll be like, I want to get McDonald's. I want to get McFlurry. We're out.
But then that's technically kind of a plan, isn't it? You know where you're going.
You're right.
But you would never leave the house not knowing where you're going.
No, that's so crazy. Oh my God. Who's spontaneous like that? Are you? Are you spontaneous?
I think also it depends where I am. If I'm in Luton,
yeah, see, that's why did you start off with that?
I feel like I'm a lot more spontaneous than I am when I'm in London. Which
so
seems like the complete opposite.
You'd be in Luton and just think, I'm just gonna go out.
Yeah,
and
if I had a car, I would do it more often as well. If I had a car, I would just leave.
Petrol prices.
No, yeah, probably not.
Oh my God.
If public transport was good here, I would just leave. And I think it's about having being accustomed to your area, because I know all of Luton, so I know what's happening where.
So why would you go out?
So I can just leave and be comfortable and end up wherever and still be fine. Whereas in London, I feel like there's this kind of unknown where if I don't have a plan, London is huge. If I don't have a
Yeah.
plan, I can't just leave.
I think I'm the opposite. Like if I
Really?
was in London, absolutely I'd go
You
out.
just go
The
explore.
day will take you, you know, wherever the wind may take you.
Yeah.
You can go by, you
Wherever
know,
the
the
tube
River
will take
Thames,
you.
where the underground takes me. Yeah.
Oh.
Go on the DLR, go on the
Yeah.
boat. You can do so much, right?
Really?
That's London. That's the whole
When
point.
I'm in London, I just stay unless I have a plan. Unless my friends are like, we're going to this place, I will not leave my house.
Which is what I'm like, but here.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is so weird.
That is very
I'm going to
interesting.
think about this after the show again.
Why is that?
Because I didn't know I was so like organized
No,
and
because for me in London, I'm like, I don't really know all the areas well.
That's
so
the
I don't
point.
feel
You go
comfortable
out so
going
you
out.
can understand it more and you can experience it, and now you know the area.
Yeah,
You're never going to know
interesting.
unless you actually go there and explore, right?
That's true. But I feel like if I don't have a particular place in mind or a particular activity in mind, I can't just go. Because what if I end up in those areas of London where it's just like Luton and I'm like, well, there's nothing to do
Well,
here.
that's fine. Go back. But you went though. Explore. I don't know. It's a difficult one. That is. That's such a weird question.
Yeah, I think that's interesting though.
It's got a lot out from us, me and you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I guess that will round off our kind of personality style questions. We learned a lot about each other and a lot about ourselves. But yeah, let us know, you guys. What type of people are you? Are you more organized like Sonia, or a bit more laid back like me? Let us know. But yeah, we're going to move on to our main topic now. And this topic is surrounding representation of Muslim women in the media. So quite a hefty topic, I guess. And I'm going to start off with the first question. What do you think of like what does representation in the media and representation of Muslim women in the media kind of mean to you?
Okay, so it's about what it means to me, or what I can see.
I guess define it first. What does
So representation, in my opinion, would be showing all different types of Muslim people, which is basically showing different types of people in general, but also incorporating their faith into it.
Okay.
And just having a variety, and not always negative, and not always stereotypical.
Okay. So kind of having that variety, but not in one way either. We need to show everyone in all the different lights.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think for me, it's basically what you said. It's being able to see, or actually rather being able to see what we see every single day being shown, for example, in the media. So if we're talking about specifically in media, if you look in a classroom in the UK, it's going to be multicultural.
It is.
You're going to see kids from all different types of backgrounds and ethnicities and, you know, everything. So what we need to be able to see that when we look at our screens, when we look at media, when we look at entertainment, because this is something that we take in every single day. We're taking in that information, whether you turn on the news or whether you are watching an entertainment program, you're listening to radio. We need to hear and see everything that we see every single day, because otherwise it's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. And also adding on to that, I think it should be something that's very normalized and not obvious. That's like a huge thing for me in representation.
Yeah,
it should not be a token Muslim and a token Muslim female, a token hijabi. It should be normal and a good, I mean, I'm not going to go into films and name them now, but there is actually a big film that's like came out a few years ago, and there's like the main characters, and it's a class actually. There were a group of students that have gone to Europe on a trip.
Okay.
And there's a Muslim hijabi student at the forefront the whole time. Like she's just another student there.
Yeah.
And what I like is that her religion is not driving the storyline.
Okay.
She's not taking the hijab off in the story.
Yeah.
Nor is her ethnicity, because I think she's Arab as well. She's just there. She's
just a normal character.
She can just exist as a fellow student amongst her other student friends, you know? And that's what I like. I can give more examples when we go into it a bit more. But that's a great, that's what representation is for me.
Okay. And I completely agree, because I feel like for us, like you said, the most important thing is that the religion or a certain aspect of it or a stereotypical notion or idea is what drives the storyline for that character. And I'm always thinking, why can't a Muslim person just be the normal
Yeah,
person
a
in
student
that
doing their
situation.
assignments, they're running their
Do you see
deadlines
what I
going.
mean?
Yep,
Or for
yep.
example, in any movie,
Running a Mexican food hut. You know what I mean?
That's
Do
what
you
I
see
mean.
what I'm coming
But even
from?
like
Yeah.
normal movies and things like that, why does it have to be a stereotypical type of
Yeah.
person? For example, an action movie, why can't we have someone in it? Like I'm saying, in terms of normality of these characters,
Yeah. Make it normal, make it everyday, make it regular.
make it regular.
Why is it when you're in the
Why are
office,
they singled
there
out?
should be office colleagues there, Muslim, it's casual. They
Yeah.
might mention it in their dialogue, they might not mention it in the
Yeah,
dialogue. You don't
exactly.
hear other faiths and other characters mentioning their faith or having a faith-driven storyline all the time.
Exactly.
Or like they've come to conflicts because they don't agree with something. Why can they not just be, you know, getting a promotion at work?
Yeah.
You know, in the office. I can really go into this, Lamisa, but I'm gonna let you carry
because
on.
this
with
is
the
your
question.
background. This is
Well,
where you come from.
yeah,
We have
I
an
guess
expert
I
on the
come
panel.
from.
Like this is
Yeah.
her field. This is Sonia's field.
Thank
She
you.
works in media, so you know. But yeah, Mariam, to you, what does representation mean? And what do you think representation of Muslim women? Well, I guess we will discuss how it is, but firstly, what is representation to you?
I think representation is essentially portraying people for their authentic selves, without assimilating any stereotypes, or I mean attributing any stereotypes to them. So I think the most important thing is authenticity. It should be authentic, and it should, when you're portraying those person, I think it's really important to have dialogue directly with those people that you're representing, because it is what you're representing.
So good research to actually know the story. Okay, so growing up, we all grew up in the UK. How visible did you feel in the media? So did you feel represented in the media?
No way. If we're talking about growing up,
yeah,
like from age 6 to 16, for example, childhood, there is no representation. Like I literally can't even think of someone who was a Muslim who I can imagine in a TV show or on the news or doing something like an athlete or in the media, like you said. Off the top of my head, I can't, as a child, think of outstanding Muslim basically people, characters in the media. Now I can say more, but growing up, nothing. It's like we didn't exist. Which we did, because there was so many of us and we're still all here, right?
Exactly.
What about you, Mariam?
I was gonna ask you, what was your favorite show when you were younger?
Oh, that depends. Like how young? Like really young?
Yeah, really young.
Or like Tracy Beaker age?
We all had that age.
Tracy all had that age.
Yeah.
Hate you, but it's not crying.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Mariam, what about you? Did you feel represented?
I don't think I felt represented now.
No, I think it's fact. Basically, there weren't any characters. There wasn't anyone that you'd see on the screen that looked like you. I think the only thing I remember was there was Sarah Jane Adventures. There was a Indian character, Indian girl.
I remember that
but
too.
even then, I feel like the storyline, like her character itself, didn't fully represent a normal Indian household.
It wasn't
either.
very Asian.
Yeah,
there was no ethnicity. Like
so I think that's where what Mariam was saying comes in, where if you are going to bring in a character, you do need to discuss with people of that background or of that culture to be able to represent it properly.
Well, that's, like I said, I think we're going to need another show on this show, because representation, you can really, really tell when it's like, I've put in a Muslim female for the sake of it, hijabi.
Exactly.
Have you ever spoken to a Muslim hijabi in your life? That's when you can really tell the producers, casting directors, have they done any of that?
Yeah.
And that usually, not always, but the actor themselves might not be a hijabi in real life too.
Yeah.
And you can start telling these things from the way they act, the stuff they say, the way they can maybe take it on and off, just so many things. And that is not representation. For me, representation in the media also means people like us, presenters on the radio show, the producers in the background, the casting director, they should be able to be diverse basically as well, because
I agree,
you know, when you do the casting credits on a film, those names need to be diverse as well for me.
Sure.
And nowadays you'll see, honestly, it's changed so much. But at the same time, let me give you an example. When you guys are maybe watching TV and there's an advert and there's a hijabi female, do you guys not jump out like, oh look, there's a Muslim woman on the screen. Hey look, she's wearing a hijab. Hey look, I think she's Bengali. Like you don't get that representation, because when you do, it's still a big deal. You still tell your friends, still shout it on the screen. So that's how you know it's not there yet.
I have a question. So do you think this is purely because of the industry, and perhaps there have been people like us who are trying to get in, but we haven't had those opportunities available for us, or we haven't been allowed, let's say? Or do you think it's because of our community itself not allowing our kids to go into those
I
types
think
of
it's a bit of
jobs?
both. I think
Okay.
it's definitely a bit of both. So I think in terms of the industry itself, is there's not a space for Muslim people to be able to express their principles and values. In fact, I would argue that the industry itself may force you to assimilate to principles and values that you don't resonate with, and therefore, as a result of that, the Muslim community will not want their children to go into that space because they don't want their children to be in spaces where they will be forced to do something against their religion or against their values. So I think it's a whole loop, and I think it's important to understand that why one act is kind of
contributing, or maybe both acts are contributing to
together.
each other.
So I think it's both ways, but I think Muslims need to be pioneers. We need to create our own spaces because we're not going to be finding spaces.
Because it's not just in media, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's in all other fields, actually.
Yeah.
You go in and you do feel almost pressured to fit a certain mold, talk a certain way, you know, act like this. That's something we've all faced. Like, act less Asian so that you are more likely to get accepted into this program.
Yeah, exactly.
That type of thing. It exists. It exists. It needs to be discussed. Yeah, exactly. It needs to be discussed because the fact is, like Mariam's saying, we don't get that space to be able to hold on to our values where we feel confident enough that we will be accepted just as
we are. Yeah. But back to your question which you asked, it's I agree with Mariam. It's both. Part of it is your community around you have not supported this, have not pushed this and provided a space for you to express yourself and pursue those dreams. Even if we're looking at media specifically, that could be because they see it as not a real job or not secure. And coming from, this goes way further, like what background you might have come from in terms of how you lived, like your economic status. It's like, no, you need a job that's secure so you can provide for the whole family. However, we know that media jobs can, of course, be secure. Like, that's something we know now. But that might be reasons why it's like, no, you don't have time to train. You don't have time to express yourself, make your videos. You need to just go straight into work. So there's that side to it as well. There's just so much to it. And then the industry, like Mariam said, a lot of the times it's so not, I don't know what the word is, like coherent with our faith. I don't know if coherent's the right word, but
like aligning.
Yeah, it doesn't align with our faith, but that's sometimes, because sometimes it does. Like, for example, we gave examples of like school TV shows or shows from when we were kids, or being a news presenter. Like, that's just speaking, you know, when you go to Muslim countries, of course they have female news presenters.
Of course,
most of the time they are female news presenters as well. So why is it in here it's actually more difficult to do that? How does that make sense? Like, could we, if we like look deeper into this, do you think that in Muslim countries they're more progressive with their females in the media than we are, Muslim females in the media?
I have a thought on that. Maybe it could be possibly because in Muslim countries the set industry itself is run by Muslims, and therefore those values are going to be emulated. And
they are the only. This is
There
a
is
lot.
no
A lot of these countries are quite.
They're
not as
entities.
multicultural.
Yeah, so they, in fact,
for them, that is the norm. That is the majority.
I think that's what it is. I think in Muslim countries that is the norm, and in this country, you're putting yourself forward in a space that doesn't include you, and so therefore you won't be considered in terms of your values and principles, and therefore that's the concern that comes from the Muslim community, that you either sacrifice your principles or you sacrifice, you know, your job.
But why that doesn't make sense is because there's really, really high population of Muslims in the UK.
It's almost
that
quite.
Doesn't make sense.
It's. I don't want to use the word backward, but it's not as progressive because Muslim, we can say Muslim and Asian people or ethnic minorities in general in the UK have been here for a long time. And you know, we are now seeing some of us being represented, for example, in Parliament as well. This type of thing. Why is it that media is catching up so late?
Yeah, it's like the last thing to catch up.
It's like the last thing.
But then you could argue that media is like one of the most powerful tools out there, right? And it might be the hardest one to infiltrate. Infiltrate is the right word to use. But but it doesn't make any sense because even like I said, TV adverts before, it could literally be like a food advert. Now, slowly, you see, if it's like a meal deal on, like, I don't know, vegetables, they might show like a Muslim family enjoying the vegetables, which is great. Then we go into the backlash. That's the problem there. So does anyone remember what happened after the
Sainsbury's,
Sainsbury's advert.
yes.
Do you want to speak about it,
What
Mariam?
happened?
So there was a family that was represented. There was a black family, and they were represented through one of the supermarkets or Sainsbury's. And then essentially what happened was that they received so much backlash. A lot of people were saying on social media, who are not from the who are from the white community, who are saying that I can't resonate with this anymore. I'm not going to shop at Sainsbury's just because I'm going to boycott it.
It's crazy.
Because and then essentially what Sainsbury's was doing is saying that this is what diverse UK is. This is what the table looks like. It was just a wholesome family meal. That's all they were kind of showcasing. However, a lot of people started to attack Sainsbury's for the race element and said this does not represent the UK. So it was I think
quite interesting.
It was quite interesting to see that that dialogue and conversation happening. It did dwindle down. I don't really know what happened afterwards, but that is one example.
But that's probably why a lot of these places don't give that media representation. They shouldn't. That should never stop you. But it's that backlash straight away shows you half the country is not ready for it. But it makes no sense because we
arguably
exist.
could be a very small, proportion, but they're just being very vocal.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is that it's their vocal small proportion that's going to be heard.
Yes.
Than everyone else who is fine with it, because people aren't going to be like, I'm not going to comment underneath a certain advert for a supermarket like woo, well done. But it's the appreciation that I have inside, obviously, but I'm not going to sit there and express that.
Yeah.
Whereas people who definitely disagree are going to express that, and that's going to be seen.
Yeah, that is true.
But
it's really bad because it's scary. Like say, if you were a black person watching that advert and then seeing those comments that people left on social media, you'd be shocked, you'd be surprised, and you'd think, what, like, how am I not accepted? Like, they're just trying to represent me in the media, like we're saying representation, something so minor, like just a family enjoying a dinner around the table, and this is the backlash. Do you know what I mean? So it still definitely affects people of color. That might stop someone from wanting to ever be an actor and be on adverts. That might have been their dream.
So do you think culturally in Britain we still have a long way to go to accept seeing our multiculturalism being represented in the media?
But not us here in Britain. But there's a group of people that in Britain still have a long way to go to accept it. Don't know why though, because we've been here for a long time.
I hear when people say we're your doctors, we're your teachers, we're your nurses, we do everything.
I don't have to prove myself. Do you know what I mean?
I know, and that's what I'm saying, that you see they don't think about race when it comes to those things, but when it comes to other things it seems to be an issue. So
yeah, exactly. Or like an athlete that's winning something for
or a
Great
baker,
Britain.
Baking for the Queen. Race is not talked about then. It's
normalized.
Britishness is only attributed to when Britain itself gets accolade, but when it comes to,
do you feel that way?
I feel that way.
Wow, that's I think it says something when you as a minority, we all as a minority, feel that way after having all the experiences that we've had and having lived here all our lives.
I think and it's I'm not saying it's negative, that the fact that the Britishness is showcased, but then when it's negative representation, it's never,
we're not British anymore.
That's not British anymore. It's actually their descent that matters. I think that's when it's the problem. There's no consistency.
Oh, okay. So this brings us onto a different issue of whether we're
I could talk about this.
It's a very deep topic, and actually something that needs to be discussed. But unfortunately today we don't have that much time left on our show. But pointers for next time, and if you guys do want to get involved into the discussion, let us know your thoughts. But I guess that brings us on to an issue of how do we feel as people who are of a different ethnicity living in the UK, and what our experiences are. A lot to talk about, and inshallah we will discuss it another time. But thank you guys for being on the show today.
Thank you.
And inshallah everyone, please do join us next week. We're on Wednesdays now at 6 p.m. So we'll see you then, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Inspire FM on 105.1 FM. Coming up next, weekly live learning. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Omar Regan.
I'm Amir Khan.
My name is